everybody in Hot Springs and Garland County is excited about getting this one kicked off tonight. I was in Bryant last week, got some clients over there, and those folks are fully ready for the season. They remember we started them on the way to a real rough year last year. They finished 1-9, and this would make their season to win tonight. But I fully expect the Wolves are going to be ready to play.
George, we so much appreciate you as providing statistics for us. It's really a big help and a big part of our broadcast. Well, both teams are back out on the field. We're just about ready to get things going. We're going to come back with the starting lineup and look at some other key players, and we'll do that in just a moment. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Quake City Oil and Lube of Hot Springs says you need one tough motor oil to meet the demands of fall driving, and that motor oil is Quaker State. Whether it's back to school, football games, or enjoying fall festivals, Quaker State will get you there smoother. Quake City Oil and Lube at 3307 Central or at 505 Airport Road is family-owned and operated since 1983, and both provide you quick, friendly service backed by the tough performance of Quaker State. At Quake City Oil and Lube in Hot Springs. Hey fans, football season is here, and Robert L. Thompson & Company would like to thank all of their tax and accounting clients by helping sponsor the Lake Hamilton football broadcast. There's no better way to watch a football game than to be right there at the stadium. And if you can't make it, then turn to KXOW, Stardust 1420, and listen to those Lake Hamilton Wolves make big noise. This message from Robert L. Thompson & Company, Ltd., located at 3615 Malvern Avenue in Hot Springs. Thanks from Robert L. Thompson & Company.
Back at Wolf Stadium, Bob Clements along with Tommy Odebnett. You saw the coin toss and exactly what happened.
Lake Hamilton did win the toss and it deferred their option to the second half, so Bryant elected to receive. Lake Hamilton will kick off and defend the west goal. And Bob, a couple of rule changes real quick on the kickoff. If the ball goes out of bounds, receiving team has three options. The ball can be taken where it is out of bounds, or it can be marked off 5 yards and re-kicked, or the ball will be marched 25 yards from the point of kick. So if the ball was kicked from the 40-yard line, they could take it first down on the 35.
All right. Very quickly, Lake Hamilton starting offense tonight. Leftridge will start at tight end. Next to him, the big guy, Billy Roden, left tackle. The left guard is Clint Crabtree. Over the ball is Grant Garrett, new in the lineup this year. The right guard is Greg Dalton. You've heard a lot about him. Brandon Fryer will start at right tackle, and the split end will be Philip Greer, Bo Minton, or Damon Sheets. We'll see all of them alternate. Slot back will be Murders, Adams, of course, the cornerback, and Eastburn will start at fullback. Matt Waite will be the tailback, and Waite is about to move on to the football to kick this season underway, and we'll check the defensive lineup in just a moment. It's a high, deep kick. Of course, Waite sent a number of those into the end zone last year. 5-yard line, right side, up to the 15-20, back to the middle, and down he goes, up and around the 25-yard line. And I tell you what, I'm going to admit some things to you right here. I hate to start alibi, but I've had some difficulties with my eyes lately here. I had a little surgery, and those white jerseys with the kind of gray and red numerals that Bryant has, it's almost impossible for me to read them right now, so Tommy's going to have to help me out a whole lot here tonight.
Trevor Sutton came down that time, Bob, to make the tackle. Matt Waite is very good at kicking that ball very high and deep. Many of them went in the end zone last season.
All right, Bryant will come up, send a flanker and end wide back to the right side, high behind the quarterback, Adams. Inside handoff to the fullback and swarmed under for just about no gain on that play. Looks like was Wiley, pardon me, that was not Wiley on the play. Sutton again on the tackle, a 2-yard gainer on the play, ball up at about the 27-yard line. Tommy?
Bryant ran an I formation that time, Bob, and had a twin set to the right side with 2 wide receivers, and that was just a simple handoff to the fullback. And that's the time, a coach will do that a lot of times just to get the feel of the ball and snap on the first play from scrimmage.
All right, Bass comes in as the single setback, wide out to the near side and far side of the field. Quarterback Adams inside handoff, and the tailback, Stan Adams, tries for, it looked like Adams was carrying the ball, but looked like I saw number 3 with the ball, but that was not apparently the situation there. But anyhow, only a gain of about a yard on the play. Third down and a long 6 coming up for the Hornets here in their opening possession.
The new face at linebacker this season, Tim Kohler in there, was one of the tacklers on that play. And Bob, you know, this being the opening season, we do not know a lot about Bryant, but it's going to be interesting to see what they can do offensively with that inexperienced quarterback starting the game for them tonight. They've got 2 big running backs, and I think that's probably going to be what they're going to go to.
Bush is the fullback, Mask is the tailback, power set left, tailback gets the call, and No, fakes the handoff, flips it out complete. We have a completion up to the 42-yard line, number 17 on the receiving end, and he's not on the program. We have no name for number 17, but he made a nice catch and a first down to the 42-yard line, and a nice fake that time by the quarterback, Adams, got me completely out of here.
Yeah, good play action fake that time, just to hit out in the flats, and then Bryant picks up the first down.
First pass and first completion here. Wide outs, double to the right side, flanker and in. I formation behind the quarterback, Adams. On the near side hash mark, moving right to left as we view it. Long count, Adams on the straight drop back, flips it out, it'll be complete and dropped. Intended receiver will pick up a number, it was number 22 out there, Jeremy Wiley, the split end. He was wide open and was thinking about running apparently before he had the ball. Second down and 10 coming up.
Well, that may answer a question about Stan Adams, the quarterback. They started out trying to throw the football, so they're going to see what they can do, this young, inexperienced quarterback.
Well, that's the heck of it. They were at the 42. They incomplete the pass. They put the ball down the 41-yard line, so loss of 1 on the incompletion that time. How do you put that in your statistics, George Lease? Split end to the short side of the field. He'll be joined by that mysterious number 17 in the flanker spot. Fakes the inside handoff, deep pitch, and for a loss way back at about the 37-yard line was the tailback. Well, that was Rusher trying to sweep right, and he'll be mowed down back at the 38-yard line. Loss of about 4 yards on the play.
Good job by number 45. We mentioned Alex Harris. He showed a little bit of his quickness that time. Came up from his cornerback position. He didn't make the tackle, but he did force the play back inside.
The Hot Springs Trojan turned Wolf. We'll see if he has the impact that a Lakeside Ram had on this team last year in Vince Barron. Wide out, near side, joined with the flanker out there on third down at about 14. Adams, straight drop, pass is complete, and well short of the first down. Nice tackle on the play that time by Matt Waite. And it'll be putt time for the Bryant Hornets. Mysterious number 17 once again. Ball up at the 45-yard line, and quickly in the punt formation come the Hornets.
Two youngsters back for Lake Hamilton deep. Number 21, sophomore Damon Sheets is back deep, and also Bo Minton. Both of those you'll see Bob playing on split end position this season for the Wolves.
Good hands, both those characters, especially Minton, and Sheets will have to prove himself as a sophomore. Hornets in kicking position. A good snap, not much of a rush at all, and a driving kick. Minton will take it in at the 19-yard line, fumbles it, picks it up at the 15, and will be swarmed under at about the 15-yard line, and the Wolves will take over in poor field position to start their first drive of the 92 season.
Well, I mentioned this before last year, Bob. To me, receiving a punt is one of the most difficult things to do. I did that in high school, ran kickoffs back, and also punt returns. Kickoff returns were fun, but it's tough building that football on the punt. So Bo and Damon, as you mentioned, both have good hands, and they'll start. The main thing is Bo did make an effort to return that ball.
Greer wide out left side. In the slot back to the left side, I believe that's Murders. Wide out far side is Leftridge. I formation behind Ty Adams. Straight handoff left side, Matt Waite plows his way up close to the 19-yard line. Give him about 3, maybe 3.5 on that play. Straight dive off tackle.
Last year, Justin Crappen had a great season for Lake Hamilton. We talked about his shaky start against Bryant. This year, Ty Adams gets his chance, Bob. And, you know, you might be concerned about the quarterback position. When you look back the last 4 years, Lake Hamilton's had 4 different starters at quarterback. So Jerry Clay always comes up with one.
Rear out, Mitten in at split end. He'll come wide to the open side of the field. That's back to the right. He'll be joined by Murders and the flanker out there. Again behind Adams. In tight back to the left side. Straight handoff right side. And it looks like Matt Waite will not get much of anything shy of the 20-yard line. And it's very apparent at this point, anyhow, that Lake Hamilton believes they have the superior offensive line. They want to control that line of scrimmage.
Well, the offensive line is one of their strengths. They've got 3 starters coming back and a couple other big boys filling in. Bryant, Bob, is in a very aggressive defensive unit. They're going to blitz and send linebackers a lot, so that's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, Adams put his first pass up of the season. Sheets wide right, along with Greer. Single setback behind Adams on 3rd and 6. He rolls right, looks in, has a man open, complete. Greer up short of the 30-yard line. He'll have a first down. Nice run and catch by Greer and a better throw by Adams.
Beautiful pass patterns that time. Damon Sheets came down the sideline and took his man deep. Someone else went short into the flat. Philip Greer came all the way across the field, hit the opening. A good pass by Ty Adams.
Greer gets a big 5 from somebody as he comes out of the lineup. Mitten goes back in, and he'll go to the open side of the field, back to the left. Murders is in the flanker spot over there. High formation behind Adams on 1st and 10 at the 35. Inside handoff. Waite powers his way up to about the 34-yard line from the 30. Gain of about 4 and a 2nd and 6 coming up.
I believe you'll hear a lot of different names this year, Bob. You know, last year Richard Williams was a man they looked to a lot of times to go through with the pass. But this year they've got a lot of different receivers, and so they're got more to go through. They may not be as experienced as Richard, but they definitely got more depth at the position.
Official timeout on the field's an equipment timeout, I believe, for one of the Wolves. We're at 6:42 here in the first quarter play. Bryant took the opening kickoff, picking up 1 first down. Had the drive stalled at about their 36-yard line. Punted away. Lake Hamilton from the 15 has just picked up a first down. It's 2nd and 6 now from the 34 for the Wolves. Greer and Sheets wide out left side. High formation behind Adams. Quick drop. And I believe it was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Sheets was the intended receiver up and around the first down marker. But it will be 3rd down and 6 coming up for the Wolves.
Damon Sheets ran a quick out to the left sideline. He was wide open. I believe you're correct. Looks like it was deflected.
3rd down, 6. Into the ball game. Big number 45. Is that Henthorn?
That's Harris, Bob. Alex Harris.
That's right. Greer out of the ball. No, I thought he was. He'll line up about a yard off the sideline, near side. 3rd down, 6. Wide outs to both sides of the field. Rolling right side. Adams under a little pressure. Little screen pass right side. That's Harris with the ball. Turns the corner. First down. Up close to the 50. And finally is knocked down at about the 49-yard line. The young man knew what to do when he got the football.
Well, Bob, I knew what was coming. I'd like to take credit for that, but I have to give that to George Lease. He just wrote on a piece of paper, screen left. And that's exactly what they're running. Very well set up. And you can, again, see not blazing speed, but good speed by Alex Harris and good move.
Second first down of the ball game sustains the drive on 3rd down from the Wolf 49-yard line. Mitten, and I believe that Sheets wide to the near side, slot right as well. Here's the inside handoff. Murders on that slot back reverse will get a yard up to the 50. May push the ball just inside Bryant territory. But right now the Wolves looking pretty crisp offensively.
Jeff Murders is only listed at 5'6", 130 pounds, but he's very shifty and very quick, so he's got a chance to pop some of those quick slot back traps.
Of course, Adams does not have the real strong arm that we saw in Justin Craveling last year, but Coach Jerry Clay says he might be a little bit more accurate, so we'll see some shorter pass routes. Flanker and in wide right, slot back to the right on 2nd down at about 8.5. Here's a quick set, near side, Mitten complete, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 41-yard line, so he'll be very close to a first down. So right now, 3 for 3 for Ty Adams.
Bob, that's a pass that I want to see thrown right there by Ty. That deep out pattern to the sideline. He put that right on the money. That will show enough strength to the arm because, as you know, if you throw a deep out, you'd better put it to the sidelines or to be intercepted. And you hit it right on the head. Jerry said that Ty is probably more accurate and may read the defensive coverage better than Justin. Justin definitely had a stronger throwing arm, and if people did not hear, he signed a contract to pitch with the New York Mets, and he's in their minor league system.
And in their instructional league, I read a couple of outings, so 1 game, no hits in 5 innings, and so the young man from Lake Hamilton is making a name for himself in the big leagues already.
I talked to Justin. He's home right now, and he said it's been a real experience for him being that far away from home. But he said they hit him a few times, but overall he pitched well.
All right, they had to bring the sticks all the way across the field, about a foot short of the first down. Ball at the Bryant call at 41-yard line. Lake Hamilton in their opening possession here have picked up 2 first downs. This all started at the 15-yard line following the Bryant punt. Clock momentarily stopped at 5:17. Tommy?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Ty is now 3 for 4 for 38 yards passing.
All right, they'll set up Mitten to the short side of the field, slot back to the right. Apparently officials are not satisfied with the readiness. They're getting the clock situated here. All right, now the Wolves are ready on third down and short. Quarterback keeper Adams, he's into the secondary. 5 yards and more down to the 31-yard line. Ball is fumbled out of bounds. I believe they're going to spot it back closer to the 34 now. But at any rate, it is a first down for the Wolves, the third of the series.
Well, I hate to refer back to Justin Crabbin again, but you look back at last season, Justin was also a big, strong runner, and that quarterback sneak was a good play for him. But what I wanted to mention, he was talking about his guards, and he had Greg Goffin and Clint Crabtree are both back, and he said all the time they kept him, run behind me, run behind me. So a lot of confidence on that offensive line.
Slotting in back right, I formation. Adams, long count. Looks like Bryant was in the neutral zone. That defensive guard there is, or tackle, not too happy with themselves, and they'll give up 5 yards to the Wolves here. First penalty of the ball game.
Very big, experienced offensive line for Lake Hamilton, and it does make you feel real good. It's good if you're quarterbacking and you've got a lineman asking you to run behind them, Bob.
All right, Greer and Harris back into the ball game. They'll come up with double tights, and we'll see the wishbone for the first time this season. Eastburn is the fullback, Waite and Harris. Harris left side handoff on the counter will pick up almost 5 and close to another first down around the 25-yard line.
That time a run to the left side behind left guard Clint Crabtree and left tackle Billy Roden with Matt Waite and Chris Eastburn leading. That's a lot of power.
And about 3, second down and a short 3 coming up. Inside 5 minutes to go first quarter. There is no score. Wolves possession beginning at their own 15-yard line has progressed all the way down to the Bryant 26. Double tights, wishbone behind Adams. He'll drop back, has a man open. It'll be kind of thrown away, I guess you would say. Harris, the intended receiver, down at about the 20-yard line, was well covered down there. But I believe Adams just was well to get that one out of bounds.
Well, I don't know if Harris was his intended receiver on second and short. A lot of times coaches will go ahead and look for the end zone on that. So I don't think he was an intended receiver, but he did a good thing of throwing the ball out of bounds.
He was basically the safety valve, number 41 for the Wolves, who is not on the program.
Todd Atkins, Bob.
That's what you told me about the change. All right, third down. Harris left side handoff, slashes for the first down close to about the 22-yard line. I say for the first down, they may measure no. It is enough for a first down of the drive, and the Wolves are doing what they wanted to do, play ball control offense.
And talking about Todd Atkins, his main role for this football team is middle linebacker, but he used to wear 52. He had to switch because he's now a backup tight end, so he had to put a receiver number on. That's why he's gone to 41.
Mitten, Greer, and also Sheets into the ball game. All 3 will go wide out to the left. That's the open side of the field. Single setback behind Adams is Eastburn. First and 10, rolling left. Looking, and it'll be complete. That Sheets on the receiving end, about 7 yards. As he'll get inside to around the 18-yard line. Let's see where they finally put it down. You'll have to help me way over there, Tommy. I'm sorry.
It looks like it's going to be about 3 yards short of the first down. And again, Bob, a great throw by Ty Adams. The ball was right in the middle of the field. He threw it all the way to the left sideline. Again, it was right on the money, and it only had a chance of being completed. They're going out of bounds.
4 for 6 for Adams in the early going here. They're back to the wishbone on second down with about 3 yards to go. Ball at the 15-yard line. Right side handoff. And I was looking at the clock when that one took place. Was it Waite on the run that time?
And Matt Waite, he did a real good job that time of covering the football up and running with a lot of power.
Okay, we're expecting to see Hopkins, in Hopkins 44. Is he into the ball game now? Yeah, Kevin Hopkins, first time we've seen him tonight. They're running at one of the halfback positions. That's very close to the first down. They may have to bring the sticks on, and they are at this point. Again, no score in the ball game. Wolves on the march now. They're penetrated inside the 15-yard line as they bring the chain on for the measurement, and it is the 5th first down of the drive. Next week, by the way, we'll be back home here against the Mena Bobcats. And the Bobcat, I can't remember. Doesn't seem right. Mena's nickname, we're going to have to remember what they... I believe they're the Bearcats. Bearcats. I knew it was a cat of some kind there. Ball on the 12-yard line. Double tight to the wishbone behind Adams. 1st and 10. Left side counter that time. It looks like ball will get inside the 10-yard line down to around the 7. Nice carry that time. Was that Hopkins or who got the carry? Hopkins did get that one. 4 new Wolves back into the ball game, and let's see if they'll change the set as Greer, Leftridge, and Mitten come in. That usually means some kind of a receiving appearance. Sheets is in there, and Mitten, wide right side. Also to the right is the slot Murders on 2nd down to the long 5. Rolling right side is Adams. A little bit of pressure. Throws into the end zone. Still no signal. Touchdown! Damon Sheets. Of course, the secondary of the Bryant Hornets wanted to wave that one off, so the first touchdown pass of the season goes to Damon Sheets from Ty Adams from about 12 yards.
A lot to talk about on that play, Bob. Very close call down there. The decision went to Lake Hamilton. A great effort by Damon Sheets. But I'll tell you who made that play. The fullback, Chris Eastburn, picked up a key block on a blitzing linebacker that allowed time to set up and throw the pass.
Got a new kicker this year. Is who?
Looks like Jason Puckett.
Jason is playing his first varsity football. Snap is down. The sidewinder puts it up. It looks good, and it is. 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go here in the opening quarter, and the first game of the season shows the Bryant Hornets trailing the Lake Hamilton Wolves by a score of 7-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Take comfort in S&H Air and Heat to bring you the quality and energy efficiency of the Trane XL1200 air conditioner. The XL1200 comes with an exclusive manufacturer's 10-year limited warranty on the compressor and coil, plus 2 years on parts, and the comfort of up to 50% more energy efficiency than your old air conditioner. You'll also enjoy the service and care of our specially trained servicemen. So take comfort in S&H Air and Heat and the Trane XL1200 air conditioner. Call S&H Air and Heat at 767-2141.
Matt Wade is set to kick it away again for the second time of the ball game. And the drive consumed 85 yards, I know that.
George has 90 yards, Bob, 17 plays, 11 runs for 37 yards, 6 passes for 53 yards. 5 minutes and 12 seconds on the clock. Very impressive and a great opening drive for Ty Adams at quarterback.
Well, last year it took a half for Justin Crabble to prove himself, but Ty he's beat that a little bit so far. Here's the kick. High, deep kick by Waite at the 4. Straight up the middle comes and to the outside and finally swarmed under at about the 20-yard line. And again, I'm going to have to alibi once again. White jerseys with gray numerals on them. And my condition right now smears pretty bad. So if I fail to mention some of these Bryant Hornets names, that's pretty much the reason. And Tommy will just have to help me out sometimes.
Well, again, Matt Wake kicking off. Very key for Lake Hamilton being able to kick it deep, especially when they get into the conference. On extra point and field goal kicking, I didn't know whether we'd see Jason Puckett or Wes Henthorne. Wes Henthorne's real powerful and kick a long ways. Jason Puckett, they said, been doing a real good job on extra points and short field goals.
Okay, the Hornets come up wide out right side on the far side hash mark, moving right to left on the 24-yard line. Power set left. Adams is the quarterback, long count. Straight deep hand off to the tailback, and he smacked on the left side of that offensive line. Looked like moving it out there was Brian Rusher for maybe 3 yards on that play. He was lucky to get that because he was stood up at the line.
Talking to Coach Farmer before the ball game tonight, he had said that last year when they were ahead 20-3 that they had done all that with their defense. So I'm sure he's going to be a little disappointed right now with Lake Hamilton being able to take the ball down the field and score the first drive against that defense.
All right, Waite and Harris on your cornerbacks. Rolling is Adams, looking straight down the middle of the field. Wide open at the 50, 45, down to the 30-yard line, and caught from behind at the 25-yard line was number 87, Kenny Horn, and was wide open, the big gainer to the Wolf 25.
Had to be a definite breakdown in the secondary because, as you said, he was wide open. And there is one difference in playing in these opening 3 ball games. Had that been in the conference, that tight end probably would have scored.
All right, now, that situation, I was about to say that Harris and Waite are the cornerbacks. At safety on that side was, I believe, Hopkins. And he'll go back to the other side this time. No, he's coming back to the near side along with Chris Eastburn. Right side handoff. Good gainer inside the 20 down to about the 22-yard line comes Rusher. And the Bryant Hornets are answering right back here. After the ball game comes Harris. We'll see who will face him back in the cornerback. He's hobbling a little bit, favoring his left side. Murders will go in to fill that spot. Inside a minute to go here in the opening quarter. Wolves lead at 7-0, but the Hornets have come back. They have a second down at a short 3-yard line, 3 yards to go from the Wolf 20, make that 18-yard line. We have possible delay of game on that. All flags went up from just about every official.
Either delay of game or there was movement on the right side of the line.
Encroachment. And that's the second penalty. Both of them violations of that neutral zone against Bryant. And that was really a costly penalty. Instead of second down and a short 3, now it's a legitimate second down and almost 7 yards to go. Wolves again leading 7-0. Opening drive. Capped by a Ty Adams to Damon Sheets touchdown, and Puckett kicked it through for the 7th point. Power set left. Into the ball game is Justin Kramer as the blocking back. We're inside a minute to go, 28 seconds to go, in fact, here in the first quarter of play. Bryant with the ball. Inside the Wolf 24-yard line, facing second down with about 7 yards to go. Again, Power set left and back to the right side. Adams is the quarterback. Takes the handoff, still has the ball. He'll be swarmed back at the 25-yard line. A loss of a couple of yards on the play. Billy Roden, I saw, and who?
And Tim Kohler also came in for a linebacking position to make that tackle. And it looked like there's a little bit of problem on the mesh with the fullback. Looked like the quarterback had a hard time getting it out of the fullback's belly. Kohler there to make a big play.
That's the end of the first quarter of play, and as we leave it, it'll be a third down with about 8 yards to go for the Bryant Hornets from the Wolf 30-yard line. Make that Wolf 25-yard line. Lake Hamilton leads at 7-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Busy Bee's Restaurant, located at 70 West at Lake Hamilton High School. Busy Bee serves breakfast starting at 7 a.m. with lunch at 11 and dinner at 7, Monday through Friday, and till 3 p.m. on Saturday. They always have luncheon specials that guarantee you won't go away hungry. Come by before or after school for short orders or orders to go. Busy Bee's Restaurant, 70 West at Lake Hamilton School.
Back at Wolf Stadium, Bob Clements along with Tommy and Ednett. And with the statistics, as always, is George Lees here tonight. Back in the studio, Craig Michaels is our engineer. Doing an outstanding job, I might add. Third down with about 8 yards to go here from the Wolf 25-yard line. Ball resting on the near side hash mark as the Hornets will move from left to right, and they have used a little bit too much of that 25-second clock, and they'll call a timeout. Timeout on the field. Lake Hamilton 7, Bryant nothing. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Red River Marine at 3034 Albert Pike has fishing boats and bass boats by ProCraft. Waco, Spectre.
State Farm is there.
Hornets come up third down at about 8.5 from the Lake Hamilton 24-yard line. Adams will bring in an eye behind him. Send a flanker wide left and an end back to the short side of the field. And the Wolves will try to shut him down here. Pretty much 4-down territory, though, when you look at this situation. Adams, straight drop back, a lot of heat, flips it out, incomplete. Billy Roden was bearing down on Adams, the quarterback, and he did well just to get that one away.
Also number 56, Wesley Henthorn, coming in from a 7 technique position, puts pressure on the quarterback.
All right, fourth down, and again, about 8.5. They brought some fresh people on. I really can't believe that they're going to punt from here unless they can assume that they can bottle up Lake Hamilton inside their 10-yard line somewhere. Let's see what they come up. They're going to show a field goal here from the 31-yard line, or it'll be a 41-yard attempt from the near side hash mark. Here's the snap, high snap. It's down. The kick is up, and what a shot. This one is no good, wide to the right with plenty of leg. It was at 88. I believe it was Kevin Nelson. Nelson, a conventional kicker, and had plenty of leg on that one, but just a little bit in air to the right side.
Bob, looking at some stats in the first quarter, I think the key here The possession time, Bryant had it 6 minutes, 48 seconds. Lake Hamilton 5 minutes and 12, but I believe the key is looking at the penalties. Penalties have killed Bryant's drive. Lake Hamilton has yet to suffer a penalty.
Of course, it killed that drive, and it also helps sustain one of the Lake Hamilton drive of the touchdown. All right, the Wolves come up on their own 24-yard line. 3 receivers back to the right side. Single setback is Eastman behind Ty Adams, who's been sharp. Straight drop, bumps once. Now rolls back to the near side, has one man to beat, cuts back inside, and will lose a couple of yards. Nice job by one of those Bryant Hornets staying home and containing Ty Adams. Good coverage on the right side of that field over there.
You had 2 people going deep, and both of them were well covered. And that's not a very pretty play to some fans to watch, but it's a very impressive thing to me. Ty Adams showed a lot of composure. I'd rather him take a 2 or 3 yard loss than throw the ball up for an interception.
Exactly. Second down with about 12 to go. The Wolves at their own 22-yard line. High slot right, and back to the right as well. Adams, straight handoff. Is this Harris coming up to the middle? Tailback on the delay call, something we saw Vince Perrin get a lot. No, Matt Wade on the call that time. Will pick up about 6 yards and move the ball up to the Lake Hamilton 27, where the Wolves will have a third and about 8.
A big different look with Matt Wade coming up on that draw than Vince Perrin from last year, and that's a play we saw a lot of times break for Lake Hamilton.
Wade will come out of the ball game on a 3rd down, and again, the Wolves completed 2 third downs on that opening drive on their way to the touchdown. Double wide outs, right side. Rolling right is Adams. Has a little bit of time. It breaks down, and they'll finally pursue and catch Adams back at about his own 20-yard line. And the Wolves will have to punt it away here with 10 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the first half of play, leading 7-0.
Now that was a concern of Coach Clay, as we mentioned early in the ball game, that Bryant likes to send a lot of people, and they're going to try to put pressure on the quarterback. Chris Eastman tried to do a good job of blocking, but there was just too many people coming that time. He couldn't take them all.
Outstanding punters, Matt Wade, and he'll get his first one away here of the season. The ball at the 18-yard line, or the 16, pardon me. Wade stands just outside of the end zone. The deep snap is good. At the line drive kick will be picked up at the Lake Hamilton 45, and coming from behind, nice tackle down at about the 40-yard line. What a catch that time was that Kramer made a shoestring catch back at the 50-yard line. If he had missed that one, it would have gone another 20 yards.
James Rogers came down to make the tackle, and Chris Eastman just missed. He was flying down the field, and Matt Wade, when he hits them, can really boom them. Coach Clay feels like they may have 2 of the best punters in the state. Alex Harris is also a very good punter, and it's just who's on before the ball game or who's going to kick.
All right, to the 39-yard line, the Bryant Hornets with their 3rd possession. Double wide outs, back to the left side. That's the open side of the field as Adams is under center. Short drop, it'll be complete. Pretty much no gain on the play. Kramer on the receiving end that time had to dive for it. Looks like Hopkins was there to cover, and others.
Had a twin set to the left side, and the inside man just stepped back and he was going to try to get a pickoff block by the wide receiver.
Actually, he said his knee went back down at the 40-yard line, so it'll be a 1-yard loss, and a 2nd down and 11 coming up for the Hornets. They'll send back a wide out left side this time, and Kramer comes wide to the near side of the field. That's the open side. Hornets move it left to right as we view it. On the naked reverse back to the right side, the quarterback Adams tried to cut, and he was well covered on the corner by, looks like Eastburn and others.
Tim Kohler came up to make the tackle, and number 56, Wes Enthorn, really made the play by holding his ground and forcing the play wider.
3rd down at about 13 to go. They have to make the Lake Hamilton 29-yard line for the 1st down. New play into the ball game from Coach Farmer. Lake Hamilton leads it here with 8:17 to go in the first half, 7-0, scoring on their opening drive and a very time-consuming drive. Double wide outs left. Adams, quick look, shoots, and almost picked off by Alex Harris. Is a quick timing pattern. They were trying to hit 87 again, Horn, who had broken free, but Harris was able to get a hand on, and I'm sure he's kicking himself for not intercepting that ball.
A lot of pressure that time up the middle coming from middle linebacker Todd Atkins.
All right, Bo Mitten and Damon Sheets, the junior and the sophomore, respectively, drop off at about their own 10-yard line. Into the ball game again. Nelson is the punter, standing back at his own 45. Of course, the only punt was fumbled by Mitten, but recovered. And he'll go to Mitten again at the 8-yard line. Comes up near side, 10, 20, 25, cuts to the outside 30, and a nice run by Bo Mitten all the way up to the 35-yard line. But we've got a flag back at about the 10, and when that happens, you can probably see a holding or a clipping call on the offense.
A very late flag also, Bob. It didn't occur when the first block was made, so the flag was approximately 20 yards back downfield.
And if that is what we think it is, that is a penalty that not only hurts, but is devastating at this point. If they mark it half the distance from that point, you're looking at around the 5-yard line. They may mark this from, they still got the ball resting up just inside the 35-yard line, so there's still some head scratching going on. The conference, of course, is with Bryant. They're going to bring this one back and mark it off.
Bryant has an injured player down on the field, Bob, on the Lake Hamilton sideline.
All right, there is a momentary timeout on the field for the injury. 7 minutes, 54 seconds to go. Lake Hamilton will have the ball deep in their own end of the field. Lake Hamilton 7, Bryant nothing. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Dollar Sheet Metal on Highway 70 West urges everyone to support the Wolves this football season. Dollar Sheet Metal does custom design for commercial, industrial, or
season when there's a lot of heat and that cramping. But the Bryant player that we can't see his number is making his way off the field right now under his own power with a little bit of an aid. But that was a clipping penalty against Lake Hamilton. Half the distance will put the ball at about the 6.5-yard line. So the Wolves, who covered 90 yards on their opening drive, will have even farther to go on this one should they score.
We talked about penalties a while ago, and there's definitely a big blow to Lake Hamilton. A great wall set up that time, a good return by Bo Mitten, had great field position. Penalty takes it all the way back inside the 10-yard line.
And when you don't have that breakaway speed to get you out of the hole pretty quick, then you have to kind of play some conservative football. And but Jerry Clay is not a conservative coach, and as sharp as Adams has been, who knows what we'll see here. Here we go. Rolling right side. Ty Adams has a man open, flips it out. It'll be complete, I believe. Only a short gain of about 3 yards on the play. Was that Murders up there, or who finally got that one?
Jeff Murders made the reception, probably had a chance to pick up maybe 7 yards on the play had the ball been right on the money. He had to dive and leave his feet, and that's why he got only 2 or 3 yards on the play.
Matt Wade into the ball game along with Alex Harris. And going back in is Damon Sheets also. Now Sheets hurries back off the field. Pickup of about 4 yards on that play. 2nd down and 6. Here's the inside handoff. Harris has the ball and a little bit of yardage as he'll get up across the 10-yard line. Gain of maybe a yard on that play. That'll bring up a 3rd down of about 4 to go. And here we'll see that passing set coming back in with Murders, Mitten, and looks like I believe Eastburn got in there. Greer. Oh, Greer is. That 3 did look like a 9 or a 6, I'm sorry. All right, 3rd down at about 4.5 yards to go. Triple set near side. Adams rolls, looks. Now he'll tuck it under, and he'll be sacked for the 3rd time tonight, back at about his 12-yard line. It'll be punt time again. And you're right, Adams is very schooled in not, if he does not have a wide-open receiver, he doesn't put it up. The advantage, though, in Crablin last year, if he got in that situation, he could throw it past everybody.
Yeah, he definitely could, and also he could pull it down and had a lot of strength and could run back up the middle, but they had a double slot to the left side. They tried to hit Bo deep over the middle, and he was covered. So again, Todd took wisely the loss.
Inside 6 minutes to go from the end zone. Matt Wade will kick this one away. At a fair kick, this will be another line drive, and picked up by Farmer again at the 35-yard line. Knocked down at about the 34. From behind was number 5.
2 punts, 2 tackles by James Rogers, and that's the 2nd line drive kick by Matt. He's got a very powerful leg, but he's going to have to get some hang time because that just kills a team going downfield trying to cover a punt, because the line drive is what you want for a punt returner.
And Kramer is very aggressive receiving those punts. They'll come up wide left, and it's the open side of the field from the 33-yard line of Lake Hamilton. Best field position so far. Deep handoff and stacked up. Looks like, let's unpile. There was Moore in there and Billy Roden and Newhall.
First man to be there is West Enthorn, 56. They say West is much improved over last year, and they're going to need him to have a big season to help anchor that defensive line.
250-pound junior West Enthorn. Loss of about 3. Second down and 13 from the Wolf 36-yard line. As looks like Howard Leatherwood is saying, look for the pass down there, look for the pass. High slot, make that now a flanker back left and left. Adams rolls back to the left. A quick short drop. It'll be almost intercepted by Waite. I'm trying to decide, was it just a bad throw or did someone get a hand on that ball because it was well wide of the intended receiver.
I don't believe it was a deflected. Todd Atkins again was coming as a linebacker on a linebacker blitz. But the quarterback just made a bad throw that time, and you hate to see those fall incomplete because Matt should have had that one.
Well, that's two that probably should have been intercepted, one earlier by Harris. Quarterback Adams had to kind of throw that one from the hip, and that's probably the reason for the errant pass. Third down, 13 from the Lake Hamilton 36-yard line. Again, double set wide left side. I formation, the ball rests on the near side hash mark as Adams goes back to pass. He'll flip it out complete to Farmer coming out of the backfield. Will get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe pick up a yard. Will not make the 35-yard, but make that the 40-yard line. And it'll be punt time once again for the Hornets.
A name we haven't mentioned, but we will be mentioning many times during the season, made that play, went through two blockers to make the tackle on the screen, and that's outside linebacker Wade Atchison.
All right, Mitten and Sheets back again, standing at around their own 10-yard line. End of the ball game to kick it away again is 88 Nelson. Finally getting that line set for the Hornets. Nelson waits at his own 46-yard line. Low snap, picked up nicely by Nelson, and he'll have a short kick. Sheets will watch it hit and go out of bounds down around the 10-yard line somewhere. Looks like they'll mark it very close to the 10-yard line. So the Wolves will take over in poor field position once again, and field position has not been an advantage for Lake Hamilton here in the first half, even though they lead 7-0.
They have a 90-yard drive for a touchdown, but with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first half, of course, you'd like to see another touchdown on the board, but more importantly, I'd like to see them be able to get out of that field position without making a mistake deep on their end.
And not do what happened last year and throw an interception for a touchdown just before the end of the half. All right, the Wolves come up. Ball to an 8-yard line. Greer wide out to the open side of the field. That's back to the left. They'll stack up, looks like a power set behind Adams. Rolling near side and looking. Has plenty of time. Now will run out of it. Up to the 10 and down at about the 11. Make that the 6-yard line. So actually a loss of about 2 yards on that play. And Adams, now the pass blocking, it's hard to say it's breaking down. He is just taking a long time to find a receiver here lately.
Well, as we mentioned, Ty does a good job of reading the defensive coverage. He's got a very accurate throwing arm, but does not possess a lot of speed or quickness, so he's going to have a tough time scrambling out when the receivers are covered.
3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half of play, and it looks like the Wolves, official timeout of the field. Wolves lead at 7-0 here, and apparently we have a helmet problem here. That's quickly being taken care of by Ty Adams as Billy Roden goes onto the field. And the Wolves will go third down at about 11 yards to go here from their own 7-yard line. Full house backfield behind Adams. Fullback gets the call. We have a whistle, and apparently as Eastburn tries to struggle for a couple of yards, dead ball foul, somebody into the neutral zone too early. Wolves can ill afford anything going against them, but Bryant seems to think they are the guilty party. Here comes the call. Legal procedure against the Wolves will be a half the distance call to about the 3.5-yard line, so the Wolves will have a second down at about 15 yards coming up here.
Bob, is it just me, or do both teams look a little bit sluggish right now? Do both look like they're looking forward to halftime? It is very hot and very humid. Both teams seem to me to be dragging right now.
The cheerleaders look sluggish to me. Full house backfield again with double tight ends behind Ty Adams from about the 3, maybe 3.5 yard line. Third down, take a second and 15 to go here, as we're at 2:55 to go. Deep pitch, near side. Harris trying to get outside, up at about the 10-yard line, and showing some good strength and quickness there. Alex Harris will get the Wolves a little bit more breathing room at close to the 11-yard line, so it'll be a third down and a good 7 yards to go here for the Wolves to sustain this drive.
Good running by Alex Harris. Now, Blake Hamilton can pick up the first down. I'm glad to see him get out of bounds. If they can't pick up the first down, I wish he could have stayed in and let the clock run.
Damon Sheets into the ball game. Sheets, Mitten, and Greer have been alternating at split end. Murder's trying to get into the game and cannot here. As we're inside 10 seconds to go on the play clock. Do we have enough players out there as Eastburn comes off, and Wolves will have to take time out as only 3 seconds remain on the play clock. So, 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go here in the first half of play. Our situation, the Wolves have the ball after only 11, looking at a third down and 7 yards to go situation, leading the Bryant Hornets by a score of 7-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Potato Patch is famous for their baked potatoes and deli sandwiches.
Wolves have had 3 tough goes, a tough go of it 3 times, let's put it that way, in the last 3 possessions, Tommy, and the thing they want to do here is maintain possession. If they can pick up a first down to try to, if they're going to give up this football at some time, Bryant should have it a little farther away than what they might get it from here. Double wide outs right side, slot back to the left, single set back behind Adams. He'll roll right side. Now screen back pass left, and almost, was it picked off or not?
No, Bob, number 12 for Bryant came up that time and almost had the interception. I don't believe, maybe that's
with the shoestring attempt
17.
The mysterious number 17 again. We had a nice reception earlier, and we'd like to know his name, but nobody seems to know. But it'll be fourth down, and Matt Wade will go back to the end zone to kick it away again.
As you mentioned a while ago, we thought the first half was going to end like last year with an interception for a touchdown for Bryant.
He went low and almost picked that one off, and could he have kept his feet, would have walked into the end zone. Matt Wade punts again. Bit of a rush. This will be a high kick. Farmer chases it. Kramer, crosses the 50 and will be killed at the 46, maybe 47-yard line. That's a better punt that time from Matt Wade.
Yes, it was. Got a real good roll. And Bob, again, the man that downed that ball was number 5, James Rogers. You know where he's coming from? He's the deep snapper. Nobody's holding him up. He's snapping, and he's taking off right down the middle of the field.
He's the Chris Eastburn of last year. He's the headhunter. So the Hornets will have the ball with about 2.5 minutes to go in the first half of play here and try to put something onto the board here as they trail 7-0. They'll start this one at their own 46.5-yard line. Wolves again are a highly touted AAA team. If you're new to the area, they went to the finals of the AAA championship game last year, losing 7-0 to Newport, and this year returning 7 key defensive starters and pretty good people on offense. They're preseason ranked number 3 in AAA, according to some people, and maybe as 4 according to some other people. And Tommy, they're getting a better test, I think. Even though they trailed 20-3 against Bryant, they killed themselves in the first half last year and went on to win that ball game. But Bryant is obviously a better team than they were last year.
Well, they definitely are. Coach Palmer is still trying to build that program at Bryant, and as you know, they compete in a tough 4A. And as he mentioned last year, I asked him before the game tonight things that concerned him about Lake Hamilton, and one of the first things he mentioned is the Lake Hamilton's experienced coaching staff. Coach Jerry Clay does an outstanding job, but he's got a great group of assistants that have been here anywhere from 5 to 8 years together. And one other word, Bob, Lake Hamilton has over the past 4 to 6 years built tradition. One thing Bryant is trying to get to.
Well, that's so important when you look around the state. That's why Newport is the kind of team they are, and some of the other ones that spell tradition. John Outlaw did at Arkadelphia for many years. All right, they'll come up following the short timeout. The Hornets, 1st and 10 from their own 46. Inside handoff to the fullback, up to maybe the midfield stripe. Nothing much more there. The clock continues to roll at 2:20. Gain of about maybe 3 yards on that call. Porsche got that call. Farmer and mysterious number 17 are out here wide to the right side. That's the open side. Second down at about 7. Straight drop by Adams. He'll come to the near sideline. It'll be complete and knocked down by Harris. 17 again on the receiving end there. We'll try to halftime maybe to find out his name because he's going to be a factor into this ball game, it looks like. First down to the Lake Hamilton 35.
Well, Harris gave him a lot of room that time, and it looks like he was trying to make the decision whether he's going to come up and try to pick that off, and he could not, so he stayed back, and the guy was wide open for a nice completion.
Well, John Welch will send Murders in and bring Harris out to talk to him a little bit about that. First and 10 from the 35, ball the near side hash mark. Adams rolls left. He'll flip it out. It'll be incomplete to Farmer coming out of the backfield. Little swing pass. He had a head of steam. If he would have caught the ball, might have gone for a while.
Pure speculation. The ball was right in his hands, but he had Wade Atchison and Matt Waite both standing there, and I'm not so sure he didn't look up to see who was coming.
Second down 10 from the Lake Hamilton 35. That'll stop the clock with 1:49 to go. And we saw, by the way, it was Horn who came in. Excuse me, not Horn, but Nelson attempted a 41-yard field goal, had plenty of leg, and almost got it. It was just a shade wide right. So they're getting into his field goal position pretty quick here. They can put a few more yards onto this drive. Fullback call. Porsche will get about 3 to the Lake Hamilton 32.5-yard line. That'll bring up a third down at about 7 yards to go. Conservative handoff that time, trying to pop something with the big fullback. No huddle as the Hornets are quickly back to the line of scrimmage with 1.5 minutes to go in the half. Lake Hamilton leading 7-0, scoring on their opening drive. Third down at about 7 yards to go. Adams, short drop, over the middle, incomplete. And we'll see a late flag come way across the field. And it looks like they're going to nail Wade Atchison with pass interference. I want to talk about that one.
First of all, very dangerous place to throw the football that time. Double covered, and I believe the official should have kept that one in his pocket.
Well, again, consider this also. Atchison had his back to that official over there, so the play was on the opposite side of the defender, and there was 2 officials looking right at it, and they held on.
Not trying to be homers either. I would have said the same thing had that gone against Bryant, Bob.
Exactly. First and 10 inside the Lake Hamilton 20-yard line. Adams on the drop, into the end zone, incomplete. Harris was down there defending on mysterious number 17. But is well over the head of everybody and out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock at 1:16 to go. Lake Hamilton has had 2 devastating penalties right now. Neither one has resulted in Bryant scores, but one was on the kickoff, and instead of at the 35-yard line, the clipping meant start at the 6-yard line, and this one is 15 yards from the 35 deep into scoring position.
Lake Hamilton trying to prevent the touchdown pass, but they're going to have to put some pressure on the quarterback.
Look for Billy Roden to come in and do that. Again, very short drops by Adams. Straight drop back. He'll go to the sideline. This one is almost, it was trapped down there by Harris. That time, Harris did not give number 17 very much room, and he's defending him very well at the 10-yard line.
Did a good job of man-to-man coverage that time. And also, Bob, I've got to give some credit to the Bryant offensive line because they're doing a good job of holding out the Lake Hamilton front line. Todd Atkins also trying to stunt through, and they picked him up on most occasions.
All right, George Lease has found out that Chris Cash is number 17, so we'll have to change his number on the program. Straight drop back. Here's the inside pitch, and then it'll be well defended by the Wolves at about the 15-yard line. So it looks like we're going to see Nelson come on to attempt a field goal, which will probably be around 32 yards.
Now that play was simply designed. I mean, if it could have popped for Bryant, they would have liked that, but they were just trying to set the ball in the middle of the field for the field goal kicker.
Fourth down at about 7 yards to go at the 14, so this will be spotted down at the 21, so it'll be a 31-yard attempt, 10 yards shorter than the last try by Nelson. Out of the hold of Adams, the quarterback. Long count here. Here's the snap. It's low. Put down well. Looks like it'll be just over. It is good. As close as the other one was wide right, that one just barely got over the crossbar. So with 22 seconds remaining here in the first half of play, the Bryant Hornets have played field position football in the second quarter of play and finally have points to show for it. It's 7-3, Lake Hamilton. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
AB&C Grocery and Shell Station at 2070 Airport Road is your one-stop shopping experience for all your needs. From groceries to fresh produce to laundromat to mobile home spaces and RV park. AB&C Grocery and Shell Station is open 7 days a week.
3-point that Bryant has picked up, considering it's, less than a half a minute left in the half, and they finally got it. And as much of a defensive struggle as the really 3/4 of this first half has been, might be a pretty big 3 points later on.
Well, I'd rather see the 3 up there right now than the touchdown, so I feel like we came out of that pretty good, Bob.
Nelson deep kick. It'll be taken in at the 15-yard line, straight up the middle. Waite up to the 30, or was that Hopkins? I believe it was Waite. Yes. Matt Waite will take it up to the 32-yard line. 16 seconds to go. Looks like Wolves might be content here to let the clock run out on that one. They'll spot the ball down. Wolves are in the huddle. They'll whistle the clock into play. And I really don't think the Wolves are going to attempt to put this ball into play. They are not. They're waiting for the clock to run out, and that's the way the first half will end. Lake Hamilton held Bryant in the opening drive, took the punt, and started 90 yards away and drove it for the touchdown. Since then, Bryant has played some excellent defense and has played ball control and hit a 31-yard field goal with 25 seconds to go in the first half, and that's what we have. 7-3, Lake Hamilton on top of Bryant here at halftime. Our guest is Athletic Director Bubba Payton, and Tommy and Edmund will be interviewing him in just a moment. We'll recap the first half and look at some of the highlights, and then we'll have Bubba on to tell us about some of the athletics going on here at Lake Hamilton. 7-3 halftime. You're listening to Lake Hamilton Wolf Football on KXOW.
When was the last time you really enjoyed a great lunch or dinner buffet?
Wolves lead the Bryant Hornets by a score of 7-3. And quickly again, recapping that scoring, Tommy.
Not a lot to go over, Bob. 7-3, Lake Hamilton looked pretty good to start the ball game. Lake Hamilton scored with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left in the first quarter. They capped off a 90-yard drive to go ahead 7-0. Then Bryant came back to score with 22 seconds left in the half on a field goal to make the score 7-3. And one thing I hope will happen in the second half, one thing that's hurt the Lake Hamilton offense is no field position. So maybe in the second half they can come out and get a little bit of field position.
And remember, the Wolves will have the option to have the ball first in the second half. And again, the question mark, there were several question marks going into the football season. I think everybody knew the biggest one would be how to replace Justin Kraplin at quarterback, and I think it was done very well, at least if the first half would, or the first quarter would indicate it, as the Wolves were able to sustain the big drive, and Ty Adams, Tommy, did an excellent job throwing the football and showed a good head, too, in the second quarter when they had bad field position, was under heavy pressure, not throwing the football into possible interception situations.
So as we mentioned, field position was the thing that really hurt the offense, and I'd a whole lot rather see Ty take the loss and throw the ball up for grabs. And one thing is very impressive to me about Ty, he does show a lot of composure out there. As I mentioned in the first half, he has a very accurate throwing arm. He has shown that he can throw that deep out pattern to the sideline. He may not throw the ball 60, 65 yards like Krabin. The question marks that Ty has is he's not real fast, he's not real quick. Now, he's shifty in the back, but he's scrambling in the pocket, but he's going to have a hard time breaking loose and scrambling for a long game.
One of the things that Lake Hamilton will have to do defensively also, Adams, their quarterback, is doing a very good job. He takes like a two-step drop in most situations. If he will roll with the ball and tries to hit the quick outs. And these quarterbacks are going to have to come up and put a little bit more pressure on those receivers.
Well, Lake Hamilton missed an opportunity to pick off 2 passes in the first half against Bryant, and Bryant has an inexperienced quarterback. Their starter, as we mentioned in the pregame, suffered a broken arm, is going to be out 6 weeks. So So far, the defense has not been able to take advantage of the inexperience. There's going to have to be some pressure put on them. Part of it is a quick drop, but again, a while ago I gave credit to Bryant because they're doing a real good job of holding up a good defensive front and doing a good job of keeping Todd Atkins from stunning into getting into the backfield.
Their quarterback, Ty Adams, if he's the second-string quarterback, they're pretty deep at that position right now. Again, our halftime score, Lake Hamilton leading the Bryant Hornets by a score of 7-3. A quick reminder that we'll be back with you next week for another home game. The Mena Bearcats come to town, and Mena, of course, playing out of that AA league over there. Really don't look for them to be on the schedule next year, Tommy. Lake Hamilton, I'm sure you're going to talk about this possible moving up the 4A situation and what have you, so Lake Hamilton is going to have to start putting some more difficult preseason people into their schedule.
Well, I'm going to talk with Coach Payton at halftime to see what we might expect next season. I have not talked to him previously about it, so I have no knowledge of it, but I think that he does have some information on that, and we should be able to give our listeners an idea of what maybe to see out of Lake Hamilton next year, whether they'll still be in AAA or 4A.
And we'll have the halftime statistics for you from George Lease just a little bit later on. 7-3, Lake Hamilton on top of Bryant with halftime, and you're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Queen City Oil and Lube.
Holding a 7-3 lead over the Bryant Hornets. This is Tommy and Edmund, and our halftime guest tonight is the athletic director of Lake Hamilton, Richard Bubba Payton. As always, Bubba, it's good to see you and appreciate you coming up to see us.
Thanks, Tommy. It's always nice to visit with you.
A lot of things we're going to talk about, but I know you've been in the education business a long time. Tell us, how many years have you been in education? How many years have you been at Lake Hamilton? And how many years as athletic director?
Tommy, this is my 24th year to be in the school business. I've been at Lake Hamilton. This is my 14th year, and I'm starting my 7th year as the athletic director.
Besides having attended many of the athletic events, knowing you personally, I know you spend a lot of time out on the road going to not only football games, but basketball, track, volleyball, and on and on and on. What are some of the other things that you have to do as athletic director?
Well, Tommy, as an example, to organize this game and to get all the people in the proper places to get this game to...
We're at halftime at Will Stadium. Lake Hamilton leads Bryant 7-3. Bubba, as I mentioned before the break, last couple of years, a lot has been said about the reclassification, a lot of traveling being done all over the state by Lake Hamilton playing in the AAA South Conference. And I think you've already attended some meetings. What can we expect to see next year?
Tommy, right now, we know that we will be AAA for 2 more years starting next year. We're not 100% positive what the other schools in our conference will be, but there has been a proposal made, and it has tentatively been accepted. There were some problems in there. The Pulaski County schools were not at all pleased because 3 of the Pulaski County schools have been placed in the Northwest AAA Conference, which means that they will have to travel to Siloam Springs and to Greenwood and Alma and those places in the extreme northwest corner. We are at the present time under the first proposal that was made, and I'm not sure if this one will stick or not, but it's a good chance that it will. The 2 schools that would be going out of our league would be Crossett and also Camden Fairview. Camden Fairview becomes a 4A school next year. Crossett would go into a different conference, and the 2 schools that would be placed in our league would be Lakeside and Malvern, which we're much in favor of. It would greatly reduce our travel, and we have some natural rivalries with those schools. We would be swapping teams there with a 3.5-hour bus ride for teams with a maybe 30-minute bus ride. So that proposal we like, but like I say, nothing's final yet, but that is the first proposal that's been made, and it has tentatively been accepted.
That'll be good news for Lake Hamilton fans to remain AAA, and I know you're not going to hurt Bob Clements and my feelings not to have to travel back to Crossett.
And anything we expect different, we got to get some field position we did not have in the second quarter.
Well, we told our kids we had to run the ball. We're going to have to establish the running game, and we emphasize the run. So I think you'll see Coach Clay going to the run a little earlier the first half, and we're going to come back and go to the air, imagine, off the run.
Play action. Defensively, what?
Well,
just do the same thing.
Well, we hope we get a little bit more intensity on defense.
Right.
We told our guys they're calling the covers where they aren't lining up correctly on the secondary, and that's why they had those 2 quick passes on us out here in the flats. But I think we shored that up too.
We were playing the corners with it soft. It's going to be tighter in the second half.
Yeah, it's a little bit tighter in the second half and a little bit more aggressive.
All right, Tiger, as always, we appreciate you. We'll look forward to a Wolf victory in game number 1 tonight here. here.
Well, thank you, Bob.
Tiger Jordan, who is a scout here in the press box and keeps his other statistics as we have time here in the third quarter. We're set to go as we begin the third quarter play. Lake Hamilton leading by a score of 7-0. And standing back, Tommy again going to have to help me as that. Diesman is a very short kick. Will be taken up at the 15, 20, 25, 30-yard line is Waite. And Waite will go down close to the 35-yard line. There is not a flag on the field, so the Wolves will have good field position to start this opening drive.
George may correct me, but I believe that's the best field position of the night for Lake Hamilton. And Bob, looking at some of these stats, the completions by Ty Adams, he had 6. 2 to Damon Sheets, 1 to Philip Greer, 1 to Harris, 1 to Minton, and 1 to Murder. So I think that's what we're going to see from Lake Hamilton. They're going to spread the ball to many people over the field.
Double wide outs right side. The slot Murders will go back to the right as well. Single sent back behind Adams. Here's the reverse from Murders trying to get outside. Will get up to the 35, maybe the 37-yard line. Only a couple of yards on that gain, and getting up for the Bryant Hornets was number 1. That's Chandler, and also number 34, Brian Rusher, that tailback on offense.
Brought back reverse, and Jeff tried to go outside with it. He might have had a chance to cut back inside, Bob, but he did make a positive gain.
Murders back in with a play. Minton will go as a wide out to the right side. He'll be joined out there in the slot by Murders. They'll send a flanker. Now Greer goes back into the motion to the right side. And rolling right is Adams. Pass in time, throws it out, it will be complete, and that's Greer with a first down across the 45 to about the 47-yard line, and well to hang on to that football because he took a shot.
A very good play by Lake Hamilton all around. A good job again by Chris Eastman picking up a linebacker to help Ty Adams out. Ty set up, made a good throw, and as you mentioned, Philip Greer made a good catch and took a real hard lick from the Bryant defensive back.
That's what we saw in that opening drive, were real quick routes by Lake Hamilton where Adams was not forced to succumb to any kind of pressure at all. First down from the 48-yard line. Triple set wide right. Here's the reverse to Murders again, cuts back in, 50, and powers his way down to about the 48-yard line. Good pickup of about 4, maybe 5 yards that time from Murders.
We commented on that while ago, and I believe Tiger Jordan sent that down to him and told him that Jeff could have cut back up inside that time and did make a good game.
Minton with a play into the ball game. Out comes Damon Sheets. Call it a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6 from the Bryant 48-yard line. Minton wide right. In the slot back to the right. Now Greer back in motion to the right side as well. Here's a flag on the play, rolling right side. Here's the pass, complete and out of bounds, down at about the 35-yard line, but that flag came, here's the preliminary signal, motion against Lake Hamilton. Apparently they felt that Greer had made a positive move back toward the line of scrimmage. That's about all I could see.
Another good throw by Ty, did a good job of rolling out on the run, and Bob, again, I'm so impressed with the way Ty is throwing that out pattern and keeping it to the sidelines for a little chance of interception.
So they'll mark this one back across midfield, put it down at the Lake Hamilton 47, and bring up a 2nd down and call it 11 yards to go. Into the ball game, as we told you about the number switch, Todd Atkins, 41. It'll take me half the season to get used to that. Wide out right. Now Greer back in motion to the right side as well. Here's the reverse handoff. Murders cuts back in, trying to get back up to the 50-yard line. Will make the 49. And it's a 3rd down at about 9 coming up. So we've seen that play run 3 times here. And really not much yardage. That was a play that was either feast or famine last year with Richard Williams.
Yes, it was. And a lot of times we saw it was famine because a couple of times close to the goal line they had fumbles on that play.
It was a different situation. This is more of a wide, deeper kind of a handoff on the reverse. Theirs is more like a trap handoff inside. Last year with Richard Williams. All right, 3rd down at 9, wide out right side. That's the open side of the field. Adams takes the handoff. He'll roll back to the right. Has a man open if he can get it up, and finally does over Murders' head and out of bounds. Murders was open behind that cornerback, but I don't know if Adams was able to see him or not.
I think that's what happened. Also, Ty was still in the process of trying to roll out because Jeff was a good 4 steps or so behind behind the secondary.
Well, the penalty killed that drive. 4th down, 9 to go. Lake Hamilton will punt it away. The ball at the row 49. Matt Waite will get this one off somewhere around his 35. So Waite, who's done a lot of kicking in his 3 years at Lake Hamilton, has an opportunity to bottle up the Hornets here. The snap from Rogers. Good driving kick. Farmer will pick it up. Slips out of one tackle. 20, 25, outside, and chased from behind and down at about the 20, around the 25-yard line. We'll see they'll mark it back down at the 24.
Wade Atchison came down that time to make the tackle, but again, James Rogers, as I mentioned in the first half, is a deep snapper, and he's the first man down the field every time. And again, Matt's going to have to get that bunt up in the air, Bob.
Well, losing Heath Vance out of that deep snapper set, that was another one of those question marks, and Rogers has been on target every time.
He definitely has. He's hit Matt in the hands, and Matt's going to have to get the ball up, or we may see Alex Harris doing some bunting.
All right, wide out, short side. That's back to the left as the Hornets come up. Farmer, wide out near side. That's Kramer, I'm sorry. Deep hand off left side, and not much happening over there for the tailback rusher, as he'll do well to get back to the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a gain of about a yard. 2nd down at 9 coming up for the Hornets. Again, they had a tough situation here to start this season, as they did last season, losing their number 1 quarterback last year, just before the season started. And the same thing happened this year. So the number 2 man goes tonight, and Adams looks like a good one. Line out near side is Kramer in the slot position. Adams on the straight drop. We have a flag in the backfield. This one he has picked off almost, or did he come down with it?
Wade Atchison, Bob, and I tell you, we mentioned that there was 2 chances for interceptions that were dropped. That was almost an impossible catch. Batted in the air by Wade and then intercepted. We'll have to see what the flag is.
Flag was in the offensive backfield, undoubtedly against Bryant, so we'll have our first turnover, apparently, of the ball game. The Lake Hamilton Wolves will have great field position here from the Bryant 26-yard line.
That really was a good interception by Wade Atchison. We hadn't called his name a whole lot, but he's an outstanding football player. They say he's a lot stronger and also quicker, but much more aggressive. And he is an outstanding individual, Bob. If you've ever talked to Wade Atchison, you'd be very impressed with him.
Wide out right side. That's the short side of the field. I believe that's Greer out there. Slot right. High formation behind Adams from the 26-yard line of Bryant. Left side handoff. Matt Waite powers his way down close to the 21, picking up a good 4, maybe 5 yards on the play that time. Matt Waite.
Definitely power running, because he shouldn't have had about 2 yards. He picked up 3 on his own.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 from the 21-yard line. 7.5 minutes to go here. 3rd quarter play. Lake Hamilton leading 7-3. That lead has stood for most of the ball game. Wolves in their opening possession drove 90 yards, running and passing. And the touchdown pass to Damon Sheets got them on the board. PAT by Puckett was good, and a closing half field goal by Bryant, 7-3. Harris on the deep pitch, left side, 20, and down close to the 15-yard line. And Harris will be very close to a Lake Hamilton first down.
Good job of blocking by Chris Eastman to allow Alex Harris to get outside. Very close to a late hit out of bounds, but the official chose not to throw the flag.
I believe he's going to be a little bit short as they mark this ball down right on the 16-yard line.
Normally, you're very good at this, but I'm going to, how do you know?
I don't. I'm just talking. 7:05 to go. Clock momentarily stopped as they'll bring the chain all the way from across the field. 7:05 to go. Lake Hamilton 7, Bryant 3. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
AB&C Grocery and Shell Station at 2070 Airport Road is your one-stop shopping experience for all your needs. From groceries to fresh produce to laundromat to mobile home spaces and RV park.
About a foot short of the first down. Lake Hamilton at the Bryant 16. And Tommy, you know, sometimes I almost like that better. When you've got a big offensive line, you've got some power backs, the defense is going to be struggling so hard on that line of scrimmage. Sometimes you just see it pop all the way through there.
True, and would you maybe consider taking a shot at the end zone throwing the ball here?
I wouldn't, but I'm not Jerry Clay. Definitely on 4th down, you'd think that the big boys could pick it up here.
Coming left, Bob.
Eastburn is the fullback, Wait the tailback. They'll send Murders in the slot to the right. I believe that's Sheets far across the field to the right. And we have a flag on the play. That came from the line judge. Was it delay of game? Because the play really never got going.
Tight end Todd Atkin that time, Bob moved, and I couldn't tell whether he actually went forward. There is also a new rule this time. The coaching staff informed me on it. When you put your hand down and go down to the three-point stance or whatever, if you raise your hand back up, that's an automatic penalty. So that's what the call was. There was a
Four-down territory. Wishbone offense. Pitch near side. Harris cuts across. He's close to the first down. Has it inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Alex Harris showing some good strength in those legs because he was hit a couple of times and managed to make about 3 of those yards on his own.
Got some help blocking that time by Matt Wade, but again, Harris does show some quickness, Bob. He does a good job of cutting back up the field.
Now, one would think at this point they would stay in the wishbone and try to power it on in from the 14-yard line, but in the first drive, we saw Jerry Clay mix it up with a pass set also. They'll stay with the wishbone this time. Ends remain tight. From the 14-yard line. Counter left side. Harris inside the 10. Close to about the 6-yard line. Will be a couple of yards short of the first down as Alex Harris countering from right half back to the left and getting a good hold on that left side.
Well, as you mentioned, Jerry Clay surprised us many times before, but you've got Billy Roden playing left tackle. It's got to be one of the best linemen in the state. You've got Clint Crabtree, an excellent blocking guard. Of course, the right side is also as good with Greg Dalton at guard and Grant Garrett getting a start at center. And who is the right offensive tackle started tonight?
I can't read.
And Fryer starting at right tackle. So anywhere to go, but normally in this situation, you see Lake Hamilton coming to the left side, and especially when they go into the wishbone, they usually have 2 lead blockers coming left.
All right, they'll put the ball down at the 8-yard line. Momentary timeout of the field, 6 minutes and 21 seconds to go. Lake Hamilton is leading 7-3, and I'm sure Coach Farmer at this point, knowing how consuming these drives have been, realizing he may be in kind of like a junior high football game tonight where he's not going to get many opportunities and definitely wants to shut Lake Hamilton down here.
Well, Bryant appears to be like Hamilton, doesn't have that tremendous breakaway threat. They did have one big pass to the tight end, but he showed a lack of speed or he would have scored. So that's got to be a concern of the Bryant coaching staff.
All right, second down at about 3.5 yards to go from the 8-yard line. Wishbone set. Adams under center. He'll counter back to the right side. This time with Wade inside the 5, down close to the goal line. At around the 2, maybe 3-yard line. Will be enough for a first down. So Lake Hamilton now with 4 downs to punch it in from around 3 yards away.
Well, you can see what happened that time. They scouted Lake Hamilton and know they like to run left like I called a while ago. So what they did was countered back to the right side.
6:15 to go, third quarter. Lake Hamilton leads 7-3 and threatening to put more points on the board from the 2-yard line. They remain in the wishbone set. Lake Hamilton has yet to put the ball in the air on this drive. Left side, Harris churning, and close to the goal line. No indication from the officials, and apparently just a little bit short of the touchdown. Inside the 1-yard line, as Bryant is trying to pull up here and keep the Wolves out of their end zone. Out of the ball game comes Harris. In goes that Greer
and Kevin Hopkins also checked in.
Inside 5.5 minutes to go. 10 seconds remaining on the play clock. And the ball inside the 1-yard line. Second down, only 5 seconds to go on the clock. Here's the fullback call and touchdown. Was it Eastburn? Yes, it was. Chris Eastburn with his first touchdown of the year. Moves the lead to 13-3 here. Jason Puckett will come on to try to make it number 14. So Lake Hamilton got the opportunity from the 25-yard line on the interception, kept the ball on the ground, mostly out of the wishbone, drives it in, the 1-yard run by Eastburn, and a point after by number 16 here, Jason Puckett. Heard that name a few times in Lake Hamilton football. Kick is up and good. 5:13 to go, third quarter of play, and our score, Lake Hamilton 14, Bryant 3. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Hello, I'm here today to remind you that football season is here once again.
But two keys in the second half in field position. Lake Hamilton got good field position to open the second half and forced the punt. Did a big interception by Wade Atchison. They went 43 yards.
The oldest, most reliable
Capped off 26 yards. Capped off by the 1 yard run by
11 years. Tulsa baseball
I
conference.
think Hamilton, we alluded to this at halftime and starting the second half, that they definitely needed some field position, Tommy, to start the second half. They got it on the kickoff. They were forced to turn it over, but good pressure defense resulting in the turnover, and field position has made a big difference for them here. Here's the kick. Deep kick way back, taken at the 2-yard line. Kramer cuts near side, is hit, and down he finally goes at about the 12 or 13-yard line. Matt Waite, and who was down there again first?
The first man down that time was 21 Damon Sheets, came from the outside. He tripped him up, didn't finish off a tackle, but again, Matt Waite can be a weapon. So many times last year, he's not got one in the end zone yet, but last year he kicked many of them in the end zone.
Rogers didn't quite make it down there first, but he was there to help out. So poor field position here from the 13-yard line for the Hornets, trailing 14-3 here midway in the third quarter play. They'll send a wide out to the open side, left side of the field, and shift back into a power set. Adams, the cornerback, tailback call, rusher, tries the right side, and he's waylaid at the line of scrimmage by Todd Aiken. And it looked like Aiken and rusher had a few words there.
Flags flying everywhere. The play was actually made by Wade Atchison, made his lineman help on the play, but Todd Atchison finished off the tackle. We'll have to watch the flag.
One of the things that you don't want to see is an unsportsmanlike at this point. You've already bottled up personal foul, Lake Hamilton. Now, I don't know where that happened. Usually, if it's a flagrant foul in a dead ball situation, it's unsportsmanlike. But anyhow, it's going to be 15 yards against Lake Hamilton. You want your players to play aggressive, but you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot either. There was no gain on that play. It was a 2nd and 10 from the 13, and now all of a sudden it's a 1st and 10, 28-yard line.
Well, you never want to see unsportsmanlike anyway, but certainly not after you make a big play, as you mentioned, and momentum's in your favor. You certainly don't want to give Bryant a chance to pick up in.
Right ball of an inside hash mark, wide out to the far side of the field. Power set, inside handoff to the fullback, and coming out of there is Kramer. He's got a first down up to about the 43-yard line. Chris Eastman finally got over there. I believe Harris and Hopkins finally had to get in there to finish him off. He's a little bulldog of a guy, Kramer.
Well, he popped through a very tiny hole on the left side, but as you mentioned, he showed a lot of power. He drugged several Lake Hamilton players for about 4 or 5 yards.
4:09 to go, third quarter. Lake Hamilton leading 14-3 over the Bryant Hornets. First down from the 43-yard line, and we have a flag thrown from the defensive back judge. Now this will be real interesting. Did he see someone rise up on that offensive line? I saw some movement on the defensive line, but no one moved forward. Yes, it'll be a procedure call. That's a 4-yard penalty. Look where he marked it. They marked it from the 43 back to the 39. That's the second bad ball placement we've seen tonight by the ref. Power set, right, and back to the left. Mix up at the line, and the fullback, Kramer, trying to get the ball, will pick up maybe a yard back to the 40-yard line, and it will be a third down. Make that second down coming up here.
Hinthorn and Sutton were the first two Lake Hamilton Wolves to meet the Bryant fullback that time, Bob.
It's evident that Bryant cannot muscle on the line of scrimmage. They have to come up with some kind of misdirection or concealed handoff type plays to try to pop a hole real quick, because they're not doing much as far as moving that defensive line around for Lake Hamilton. second down at about 13. Quick short drop. It'll be behind the intended receiver up at around the 45-yard line. That was Routon. And incomplete. Third down and 13 coming up here. That's the second time we've seen the quarterback Adams kind of throw from the hip and really throw behind the intended receiver.
Good coverage that time also from Matt Wade. He was right there, so I don't think it had anything to do with it. The ball definitely overthrown.
Lake Hamilton again, a preseason number 3 pick in the state of AAA. And the one right ahead of them would be the Camden Fairview Cardinals out of the same conference. Rolling left, Adams, and he'll be jumped in the backfield. Here's a late pitch, finally gets it away. 50, and almost a first down to the 47-yard line. How did Adams get that ball pitched? It looked like Rusher was trailing and got it, and he'll be very close to a first down. I believe he'll still be at least a half yard short, maybe a full yard.
I thought he was already down.
I called him down. Fourth down at about a yard to go, but of course Bryant here trailing by 11 points and just a little over a quarter to go. They'll have to go on this one. Gain of 13. Credit to the quarterback, Stan Adams. How did he control that? Lake Hamilton will try to bow up here and prevent the first down. Fourth down at about a yard and a half. Inside handoff to the fullback, and that's Kramer. I believe Kramer will have it down close to the 45-yard line. If you're going to need a yard or two, he's the guy to go to.
Good fire run, and Kramer was not going to be denied, Bob.
To the 45-yard line and a first down for the Bryant Hornets. And again, this drive started at their 13 following an excellent kick by Waite. No gain on the first play, but a personal foul penalty after the play was over. Moved the ball to the 28-yard line, and now a couple of first downs later, the Hornets have it at the Lake Hamilton 45. Adams short step, flings it out. It'll be, that's a lateral. Somebody needs to jump on it. Lake Hamilton has the ball. Have they called it a lateral? It was definitely 2 yards behind. Yes, it was a lateral fumble. Lake Hamilton recovers and takes over at the 43-yard line of Bryant. Did Aiken get on it, or who finally was there were 3 or 4 wolves scrambling around for it before finally someone grabbed the handle.
I believe Kevin Hopkins finally came up with it. Tim Toller did a good job coming up and knocked the ball loose. And anytime there's a question on that, Bob, you always need to go for that because you never know what call the official is going to make, and that time they made the correct one.
It was a little swing pass, but it was definitely behind the intended receiver or behind parallel with the line of scrimmage. So it was a live ball. Lake Hamilton pounces on it at the Bryant 43, and a good break here in field position again. Wolves scrambling around on the field here. 7 seconds remaining. Still nobody is set. 3 seconds to go. Triple set. And Lake Hamilton finally will have to apparently waste a timeout as there was only 1 second remaining on the play clock. We had people running in all directions. Timeout, 1:38 to go. Third quarter play. Wolves have it first and 10 at the Bryant 43, leading 14-3. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Creek City Oil and Lube of High TV, located at 3615 Malvern Avenue in Hot Springs. Thanks from Marvin L. Thompson and Company.
Adams goes deep, full Mitten, the intended receiver down to the 10-yard line, and that's about 1 yard too much on that pass. Mitten got behind the secondary, and we saw a strong arm that time from Ty Adams and a good tight spiral.
Made a good fake, and they ran an out and go pattern that time. And as you mentioned, Ty was really still on the move, and he just overthrew Bo Mitten.
Second and 10 from the 43. It's interesting. Now, incomplete yard on that one. The ball is not getting spotted very well. Adams, short drop, cuts it back in, throws it to the incomplete. Adams, the intended receiver, down to the 37-yard line. That time, after the pump, Adams really did not deliver that ball.
No, he really didn't. He was falling. Coach Clay was not very happy with that play, so I don't know if Ty got mixed up on the pattern was supposed to be run or what, but as you mentioned, he not set his feet. He was falling backwards and did not get very much on the throw.
Are you surprised we didn't go back to the wishbone here and play more conservative ball?
Oh, not really. I can see him taking a shot there on first down for the touchdown.
Single setback. Quick drop. Mitten complete. Inside. First down. close to the 30 and maybe the 29-yard line. Bo Mitten made a nice little juke after he got the ball, which at that time was about 3 yards short of the first down, and picks up the necessary yardage to the 30.
Bo's not very big, but his hands have never been a problem. Super hands. I saw him in a junior high game make one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. And Bob, he's very well capable of breaking loose there and picking up some extra yardage.
Philip Greer out. Jason Puckett is into the ball game. He'll come as a flanker wide to the open side of the field. That's the near side. Single setback remaining. Short drop, rolling near side. Over the middle, it'll be complete. Wide open! Damon Sheets touchdown, and what a throw that time by Ty Adams.
Damon Sheets and Jason Puckett ran a crossing pattern that time. Jason came back to the outside. Damon broke wide open across the middle.
Again, a lot of people are sitting there. You got scouts coming up, looking at the Wolves and what have you, and they realize that the Wolves coming into this situation have a real question mark at cornerback, and Ty Adams has looked like a 3-year starter tonight. Puckett out of the hole, up and good. 59 seconds to go here in the third quarter of play, and it's pay dirt once again for the Lake Hamilton Wolves on the touchdown reception by Sheets from Adams. But our score, Lake Hamilton 21, Bryant 3. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Hey fans, football season is here, and Robert L. Thompson & Company would like to thank all of their tax and accounting clients by helping sponsor the Lake Hamilton football broadcast. There's no better way to watch a football game than to be right there at the stadium. And if you can't make it, then turn to KXOW, Stardust 1420, and listen to those Lake Hamilton Wolves make big noise. This message from Robert L. Thompson & Company, Ltd., located at 3615 Malvern Avenue in Hot Springs. Thanks from Robert L. Thompson & Company.
Well, the second touchdown of the ball game was all run, 26 yards. This 45-yard drive was all pass, consumed a minute and a second. Sheets, second touchdown of the game, 30 yards from Ty Adams, and that's a sophomore out there playing his first varsity game ever.
Well, Damon Sheets is going to be looking for me after the football game. He's been after me since I had him in junior high. He wanted me to give him a nickname on the PA system, and I said, you can't do that on the PA, but if we ever get a chance on the radio, lo and behold, he's after me this year, Bob.
Now the squib kick comes up at the 15, 20, 25-yard line, and heavy pursuit just short of the 25-yard line. Again, Rogers is down there. Also Eastburn, who we expected and saw a lot of that last year.
You'll see those two guys make a lot of tackles. And also back to Damon Sheets for a minute. I told Damon, I said, well, Damon, you're going to have to do something first, so I'm going to say your nickname on the air. He said, I will. So he's done it tonight, and we'll have one next week, I guarantee you.
Yeah, we'll come up with something there.
He'll come up with something, Bob. I guarantee that.
We'll just have to call him sophomore. 23-yard line where the Bryant Hornets put it 1st and 10 as they trail with only about a half minute to go here in the third quarter, 21-3. Inside handoff to Kramer. Kramer will get a yard, maybe two, up to around the 25, and that may be the final play here of the third quarter. Hornets pretty quick back to the huddle. They might try to get one more off here. 2-yard gainer to the 25-yard line. Ball spotted on the near side hash mark. Only 7 seconds to go. That should be the final play of the third quarter. It is. Our score, Lake Hamilton 21, the Bryant Hornets 3. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Take comfort in S&H Air and Heat to bring you the quality and energy efficiency of the Trane XL 1200 air conditioner. The XL 1200 comes with...
From Adams to Sheets. Right before the half 7-3 ball game on a 31-yard field goal by Nelson from Bryant. And then a 1-yard plunge by Eastburn made it 14-3. And now the 30-yard scoring strike from Adams to Sheets again makes it 21-3. Second down with about 8 yards to go. The Hornets from their own 25-yard line out of a power set. Deep handoff rusher, and he's plowed under at the 25. The ball is on the ground. They may have ruled it dead, though, at the 25. But no, I believe they're going to mark this one back for a couple of yard loss on the fumble. Yes, they did say he fumbled the ball and got it back. But a 2-yard loss makes that 3 yards, and now 3rd and 11.
Bob George just handed me a stat, and Lake Hamilton 174 yards total offense now at the end of the third quarter, 72 yards rushing and 102 yards passing. And I believe he said Bryant's been held less than 30 yards here in the second half.
About half that is on that 15-yard penalty. Third down at 11, wide out, right side. Power set back to the left. Adams rolls near side. A lot of pressure. Gets it away. It'll be complete to 17 again. He fumbles the football. Who gets it back? I believe Lake Hamilton does at the 40-yard line. Still trying to find out who got it. Did you finally see Tommy? Was it Aiken?
I couldn't tell who picked it up. A nice throw and catch that time by the Bryant Hornets. Unfortunate for them, it ended up in a turnover.
Nelson was the receiver on that. We didn't know until late in the second half, second quarter, who he finally was. Made some nice receptions that time, but he was hit hard on that play.
One thing we talked about at the end of the first half and during halftime was field position. Lake Hamilton had it in the second half, and they picked up 2 touchdowns.
They'll start their third drive now inside Bryant territory into the second half. Greer quickly into the ball game. Back to pass. Swings it out left, complete. Bo Mitten jukes his way, picks up about 7 yards inside the 35-yard line. And it looks like that Coach Clay is very intent right now on getting a lot of mileage out of his throwing quarterback to really season him for the games ahead.
I would really hate to have to prepare for Coach Jerry Clay each and every week because he does run several different formations, could pass anywhere on the field. The next thing you know, he comes out and runs a wishbone. But I agree with you. Right now, he seems to be pass conscious.
Got a couple of other very capable quarterbacks. Brock Lyons is warming up on the sideline. We might get to see him in the fourth quarter here. There was a mix-up there on second down. Somebody went the wrong direction, and Adams had to eat that ball for no gain. Third down with about 3 coming up.
Yeah, you mentioned Brock Lyons. Brock really had an outstanding game Monday night in a JV game. Lake Hamilton beat a very good Pine Bluff team, Bob, out here. And Jason Puckett, you called his name. He's been kicking extra points. Came in a while ago when Damon Sheets caught a touchdown pass. Jason Puckett had a big catch for a touchdown in that ball game also. So I'd encourage fans to come out on Monday night to watch the sophomore and also the JV squad.
I tell you, when you beat a team like Pine Bluff with the tradition they have over there, consistently one of the top 4A teams in the state.
Bob, they had 2 big physical running backs.
Triple wide outs left. Here's the deep handoff. Harris straight up the middle, and he'll get close to the first down at about the 30-yard line. Almost broke it all the way. Saving tackle that time.
Good mark, and he should have it.
Here's the first down. Lake Hamilton just inside the Bryant 30-yard line. Mitten into the ball game. Sheets will come out. Mitten says, you've had 2 touchdowns. It's my turn. 21-3. Lake Hamilton leads it here as we're inside 9 minutes to go in the ball game. Mitten will come wide out to the open side of the field. They'll send a slot flanker in all back to the left side. Rolling and pumping once is Adams. Pursuit, looking for Mitten, complete. Did he hold on? Yes, at the 6-yard line. The defender fell down right in front of him. And a nice pass once again by Ty Adams.
We talked about Ty, and one thing you could see there, Bob, not a lot of speed, not a lot of quickness, but he did avoid the rush that time, made a good pass to Bo on the run.
From the 6-yard line, Lake Hamilton sets up shop again.
What a catch by Bo Mitten.
All right, will Bo get him a touchdown here? Let's see. Triple set left. Mitten back to the right. Looks for Mitten. We have a flag on the play, and they'll stop play as they call it a dip ball.
Describe that play, Bob. If you hear this a lot of times, that hole was big enough to drive a truck through. Chris Eastman literally walked into the end zone, but I'm afraid it's going to be brought back.
It looked like a pass all the way, executed to the end by Adams. And Eastman, as you said, literally walked through the line there. 5-yard walk-off. Back to the 11-yard line. First down. And goal from the 11-yard line. Now Sheets will come in. Wide out to the right side. Triple set back to the left. We have possibly... That was a real interesting situation. Bryant is apparently going to be guilty of encroachment here. They kind of admitted to that. You know, no flag was thrown until about 3 of them stood up and shook their heads and threw their hands into the air, and finally the line judge threw the flag up.
they get 5 yards back. But I've seen Lake Hamilton do that. You had 2 on many occasions, and Bob, that shows a lot of discipline on your offense, but I've never seen Lake Hamilton jump on that, and normally they are able to pull a defense off.
8:14 to go here in the ball game. Lake Hamilton leading 21-3. Looking to get more here with a first down and goal to go at the 6-yard line. Mitten wide right side. Again, triple set back to the left. Quick set in the end zone. Touchdown, Bo Mitten. Well, the junior gets his first touchdown. 3 by the pass tonight and 1 by the run by Eastburn. And Lake Hamilton leading now 27-3.
Chris Wallace must be wondering, what do I have to do? He was all over Bo Mitten that time. Just a good throw by Ty Adams on a quick slant-in pass and a good catch by Bo Mitten.
Thinking back to last year, too, I'm sure Ty Adams felt that he was a very capable quarterback, had to sit in the shadows of Justin Krampel, and now he finally gets his chance, and oh, what a showing he's making tonight. Out of the hole, the ball is on the ground. Greer picks it up, rolling to the right side, will be caught in the background. Could not tell if it was a bad snap or a fumble. I said it was Greer. But anyhow, all for naught, 27-3 is our score. 7:59 to go here in the first opening game of the season as the Lake Hamilton Wolves lead the Bryant Hornets by a score of 27-3. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Busy Bee's Restaurant,
It is ready to kick it off. 40-yard drive in 5 plays, 35 yards pass and catch, pass by the pass, 5 yards by the run. Took a minute 56 to put that 27 point on the board. And Matt Wade has been a busy boy here in the second half, kicking off.
Bob, Lake Hamilton was trailing 20-3 going into the fourth quarter last year. Bryant's trailing 27-3 in the middle here. Can they come back?
I don't see it.
I hope it won't be Thursday.
Lake Hamilton defensively, like we thought we would, has totally dominated. Short kick taken by one of the up-backs, and then fumble, ball still on the ground and finally down inside the 20 at about the 18-yard line. Not a good kick, and again, Wade here is trying to force the issue on the kickoff. He remembers last year those booming kicks that many went into the end zone. He's just trying to overstep himself a little bit. Ball will be put down at the 17-yard line, so poor field position once again for Bryant here.
You know, I'll never forget that Thursday ball game last year in the playoffs. Have you ever seen a game turn around like that one did in the second half?
Lake Hamilton led 26-0 at half and literally had to hold on from early in the fourth quarter. Inside handoff to the fullback Kramer. He'll get up to the 20. And we'll see a bunch of reserves on defense come in here for Lake Hamilton.
I see number 10, Tim Pate, coming in. Also number 50 for Lake Hamilton is Brian Lubin. There comes 75 and 48.
We'll try to pick them up. I'm going to charge you with that responsibility here tonight, Tom.
David Roberts, number 48, that has come in.
Can of a couple, second down and short 8 yards to go here for the Hornets. 27-3, Lake Hamilton comfortably in the lead here. Rusher with a deep handoff. He'll lose yardage back inside the 20-yard line. Third down and about 8, maybe 8.5 coming up here.
Bob, we talked about poor field position by Lake Hamilton in the first half. Well, you'll take Bryant in the second half. They've had 12 plays for 33 yards in the second half. 3 turnovers.
When you have that, you get behind and you have the bad field position, then you start trying to force some things, and that pretty much is what has happened here in the turnovers. They'll come up with double wideouts to either side of the field on third down and about 8 yards to go. Adams back, tucks it under, and he'll go down at about the 20-yard line. No gain on that play, and it's punt time once again for the Hornets, and looks like another good field position situation here for the Wolves.
Well, that could be confusing. Adams going back for both teams, isn't it?
Exactly. But one Adams has had a stellar night tonight.
One thing for sure, your eyes won't affect what quarterback's throwing the ball. All you got to say is Adams.
I'm just thankful they're wearing different colors out there.
Look for a punt return to break here, Bob.
Sheets and Mitten back on the Lake Hamilton side of the 50-yard line. High snap. Nelson brings it down. It'll be a fairly short kick. Interesting. The kick is left alone. We may have had too many men on the field here. That came from the deepest member of the officiating corps as the ball was coming down. I did not see Mitten even in the picture, and he may have been a 12th player on the field trying to get off.
Well, I heard Coach Jordan hollering too many people on the field. George says there were 13. I know I counted 12 for sure, so he's probably right. Both probably tried to get off. He was a 13th man.
Again, I forget what it is in high school football. I can't remember if there's a difference in just having them on the field or participating. If it's a 15-yard penalty and they mark it off on the line of scrimmage, that's going to be a first down.
Well, if even Bo got off, it wouldn't have helped because they still had 12 out there.
It will be a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage, so it will be a first down up to the 30-yard line. That's about the only bright spot in the second half here for the Bryant Hornets. From the 35-yard line, yes, the 35-yard line. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the ball game. Lake Hamilton 27-3 on the lead.
Two first downs for Bryant in the second half, both by penalty.
Lake Hamilton's defense has been highly touted all through the summer and has lived up to the reputation here in the second half. Stan Adams under quarter, under center, and rises up and gets a timeout here as I wanted to say the shot clock was about to expire, but the play clock was indeed about to do that. So we have timeout on the field. Bryant with the ball from their own 35-yard line with 5:45 to go in the ball game. Lake Hamilton 27, Bryant 3. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Red River Marine at the 3034 Albert Pike in Hot Springs. Stop by today. Red River Marine.
Hornets back to the line of scrimmage. First and 10 at their 35-yard line. Remember, we're back home next week. The Wolves take on the Bearcats of Mena. Airtime with the coaches show at 7. Game time at 7:30. Here's the reverse. Bootleg from the quarterback, Adams. He'll pick up 5 to 8 yards on that play. A nice run by Stan Adams. Lake Hamilton obviously on to their first victory of the season here tonight, totally dominating in the second half of play. Lake Hamilton has had a lot of great players come through the organization, and some are playing some college football these days, Tommy.
Well, a few of them signed scholarships. Richard Williams signed to play with Ouachita and is doing real well as far as I understand. Patrick Fields, offensive lineman, also he signed with Arkansas Tech. He's redshirting, and we'll talk about a couple more after this play.
High flanker, wide right, and back to the left side. Third down at about 3. Quick hitter, and almost picked off. It was on the deflection. Is that Harris? We've got a new player in the ball game. We'll identify inside the 40. Kramer was the intended receiver. Bounced off of his shoulder pad right in the hands of who?
David Roberts ended up with the pass interception.
He knew what to do with it. Took 5 positive yards inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Every possession for Lake Hamilton in the second half, unless I missed one, is starting, well, except for the opening kickoff, obviously, is starting in Bryant territory. This one at the 38.
Brock Lyons is now in the quarterback now, and as I mentioned, Brock had a great ball game against Pine Bluff the other night.
We've also into the ball game. We'll try to identify some of these other players. Chad Rogers in at running back. Fullback, no. They take to the fullback, and Lyons will keep the ball, try the right side, get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
Bob, a couple other players I'd like to mention. Number 24, I know you'll remember who that was. Adam Brown has walked on at Arkansas Tech. He's Charlie Vance, linebacker, fullback, place kicker. Has walked on at UCA. I understand doing a pretty good job. Also Carl Self, the center, has walked on at Henderson. I understand as a backup center. We mentioned Josh Crabbin had a chance to play college football. Chose to sign a contract with the Mets. I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing ball sometime in college before his career is over.
Ken Payne into the ball game also. Line, short drop. Flings it out over the head of the intended receiver, Puckett, down at the 30-yard line. Well covered down there by Kramer, and Lyons showing a strong arm there. I'll tell you what, Jerry Clay, I don't know if he's a quarterback maker or just knows what material is and knows what to do with it, but it's always been a strong suit. third down of about 10 yards to go. Lake Hamilton with the ball at the Bryant 34. You make that 38-yard line. High slot right, in back to the right. Here's the inside handoff to the fullback, and the ball may be on the ground there. At least there's a scrambling around for it. Bryant says they have recovered, and the officials finally do concur. So Lake Hamilton suffering their first turnover, and there's old number 17 again, Nelson, who has had a great game tonight.
When you talk about quarterbacks, I used to really worry about that from year to year because, as we mentioned, the last 4 years they've had a new quarterback every season. This year I said I'm not going to worry about it because they come through every time. Brian Pinkerton came through, did a great job 1 year as a starter. Justin Crabman 1 year as a starter. And Ty Adams is certainly waited for his chance, and he's made the best of it tonight.
Of course, Brock Lyons will be looking to fill that void again next year once it takes place. Inside handoff to the fullback at Porsche, and he'll come out across the 40-yard line, put it down at about the 42, and a gain of about 4 on that play as this game is winding down toward the end. Lake Hamilton playing pretty good football, let's say, in the first half, and lights out in the second half, especially the defense and also Ty Adams.
You could go back to Fountain Lake with Jerry Clay. He's always had a good quarterback.
A lot of new people in the defense. Quarterback keeper around the right side, and Adams will get up across midfield down to the Lake Hamilton 48-yard line and pick up the first down.
James Rogers and David Roberts came up to make the tackle.
A lot of new numbers in there.
Tubby McElrath, number 20, used to be worn by Heath Vance in the ball game. He had a big game also against Pine Bluff playing middle linebacker the other night.
Also 99 into the ball game.
Another sophomore, number 14, Louis Hurd on the field.
That's Justin Gray. Wide out right side. First and 10 from the Wolf 48-yard line. Inside handoff Porsche. That's Kramer running there on that one. And we'll get inside the 45, gains about 3, maybe 4 yards on that play. Second and 6 coming up as we near the 2-minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
Number 55, Eric Cooper, and also 58, Stacy Roberts are both in the ball game playing.
Lake Hamilton obviously kind of stay with this group in the defense unless it becomes too critical. They've allowed only 3 points tonight, no touchdowns, obviously, and they want to keep it that way. Second down at about 6. Dan Adams, straight drop back, and he'll be dumped back at around the 50-yard line. Blowing through there was
Ryan Lumen that time came through to make the tackle.
Clock continues to roll inside a minute and a half to go. Loss of about 6 yards. Third down and 12 to go. Again, the coach Jerry Clay show, 7 o'clock next Friday night right here on KXOW. Airtime from Wolf Stadium at 7:15. And we'll have the kickoff at 7:30. Wolves, of course, will be heavily favored in that game. Won basically in the first half last year. Short drop, it'll be dropped by the wide out on the right side. A little fly pattern that time. Stops the clock at 55 seconds to go. And will bring up a 4th and 12 for the midfield strike for the Hornets. And this might be their last hurrah right here.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, this game really made me nervous because I knew this was going to be maybe a tough one to get by. On paper, Mena and Lakeside will not be as tough, but who knows, Bob? Certainly Lakeside is a big rivalry. They've got a new coaching staff this year. Gary Segrist has come in and got a great reputation, had a winning program at Nashville.
There's that straight short drop again, and it looks like this will go close to a first down inside the Lake Hamilton 40 to about the 38-yard line. The receiver, I believe, was Horn, was hit and dragged a couple of Wolves with him. And they say it is short, and Lake Hamilton will take over on downs with 49 seconds to go in this ball game.
I drove up to Russell the other night to watch the scrimmage game with Russellville, and that's a drive I hope we don't have to make very often either. But a lot of people probably left saying, oh my goodness, well, Ty Adams threw about 3 interceptions for touchdowns. Coach Clay was laughing after the game. Well, not laughing, but he told his team, we scored 7 touchdowns and they scored 1. Unfortunately, we scored 3 for them. But that question was answered tonight because Ty really did not come that close. Except one time he made a bad pass on the screen close to the goal line for the second half. Other than that, it showed real good decisions.
Good decisions and really has been razor sharp. It'll be interesting to see what those final statistics look like as George Lease is putting them together right now. Lake Hamilton will be content to kind of run out the clock here with 38 seconds to go. Lyons still has the ball, rolling around the right side, and he is caught and collared from behind. If not, he would have run for quite a while.
Brock Lyons is not afraid to run the football. Several times the other night he dropped back to pass and scrambled out of the pocket.
He just couldn't get out of the hole there. He had a lot of pay dirt in front of him. Lake Hamilton will take time out with 16 seconds to go, and the only reason is to get a whole new group into the ball game. Let some other kids have an opportunity to say that they played a varsity game here. And I believe the quarterback is going to be Louis Hurd, who's a sophomore. Was a stellar player in junior high.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Louis Hurd get some experience later in the year in the secondary. Kevin Hopkins came in last year as a sophomore at the end of the season, and you remember did a heck of a job in the secondary. And I believe Coach Jordan was saying that he thought that Louis Hurd might be a sleeper.
There are some sophomores, just great athletes that are coming up and kind of thought that they might need to contribute a little bit. Hurd takes the snap, deep handoff, and not much happening there, maybe a yard and a half, and inside 10 seconds to go, and that was the final play of the opening game of the 1992 season. And your Lake Hamilton Wolves have lived up to the billing of number 3 in the state, at least it appears so, and dismantling this Bryant Hornet 4A bunch by a score of 27-3. Both teams round on the field to offer congratulations and condolences, as the cases may be. And we'll come back and give you the highlights and the final statistics in a moment. Final again, 27-3, Lake Hamilton a winner. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Dollar sheet metal on how
You on here tonight as Lake Hamilton has impressively opened the 1992 season, beating the 4A Bryant Hornets convincingly by a score of 27-3. Tommy, you get at the stage and you want to start singling out people and who had the best game or the best game of several people. And we've got to talk about Ty Adams. We have all game long, and people might be weary of that by now. Some of the other bright spots you have to look to. Damon Sheep, 2 touchdowns, the sophomore playing his first varsity game ever, or first high school game ever. The defense, you would just have to almost single out everybody there. When it came time to start the second half of play, it seemed like the role, especially of that secondary, the cornerbacks and what have you, their role was a little bit better defined and they knew what to do.
Well, I think you did mention a couple of key people. Ty Adams had a great ball game tonight as quarterback. Sophomore Damon Sheets came in, 2 touchdowns. Bo Minton caught a touchdown pass. And I think it's going to take a while for this team to develop its own personality. Of course, as you and I talked earlier, last year, the first 3 games of the season were totally different than the last games. Once Perrin came over, they had a different look with a breakaway. But the personality will have to develop. And I think what you can expect to see is a lot of mix of the passing run, which is very typical Jerry Clay. But I think you'll start to see the ball spread to many more people. Last year, Perrin did a lot of the brunt of the running. Richard Williams did a brunt of the receiving. This year, the ball's going to be spread around to many receivers and also many different running backs. Alex Harris showed some signs tonight of making some big plays in the backfield.
Of course, it's going to take him a little bit of time, coming through varsity in Hot Springs for so long and adjusting to Jerry Clay a little bit more. We can expect bright things out of him. The thing that I saw also here tonight, we're going to see a lot of underclassmen that are going to contribute to the success of this season this year. But don't get us wrong here. It's hard to tell how good Bryant really was tonight. They have consistently been a team that has struggled in 4A. Once they finally got to that level, I think they were a better team than what we saw last year, but Lake Hamilton looked very, very sharp here for an opening game.
I hope this rivalry with Bryant, or game with Bryant, can continue because it's an excellent opening game for Lake Hamilton. It's a 4A school, very competitive, but it also gives Lake Hamilton to go out and play with a team that is comparable to speed-wise. And I think that makes a difference. No doubt Bryant was a better football team. Unfortunately for them, as we mentioned a couple times, the starting quarterback went out with a broken arm about a week ago. so they had to bring in a new quarterback. How much difference that would have made with running your offense, we'd have to see. But Lake Hamilton offensive line, which is tremendous, finally took over, and also that outstanding defense.
Now we've got some final statistics coming in here from George Lee's Lake Hamilton's total offense tonight, and most of this coming in the second half. 219 yards, 82 on the ground, 137 in the air. Bryant had a total of 183 yards, 70 by the rush, 113 by the pass. First down, Bryant 8. Lake Hamilton had 13, and they evenly distributed that, 6 by the rush and 7 by the pass. Of the 8 first downs by Bryant, 2 were by penalty. Both of those were in the second half. Again, a total domination in the second half by Lake Hamilton.
The two things that stand out in my mind were terrible field position of Lake Hamilton in the first half. They got good field position in the second half, and also the turnovers of Bryant in the second half, and Lake Hamilton knew what to do with them. Right, they took them and put them in the end zone. As you mentioned, I think several times Lake Hamilton started on Bryant's end of the field.
All right, our final again, 27-3, Lake Hamilton with a win. First game here this season. Quick reminder, next week, the Bearcats of Bryant, the Bearcats of Mena will be in town. Airtime begins at 7 o'clock with the Jerry Clay Show, kickoff at 7:30. The following week, we'll be going across town to Lakeside, and that will conclude the non-conference season, and we'll be getting into the conference season, first of all, against Magnolia back here, and it just gets pretty tough from there on out.
No doubt about it, and it's almost like teams coming in with just different colored uniforms on every week, because each and every one of them will have speed. And Bob, I look for Camden Fairview's got to be the clear-cut favorite. I mean, they should be in 4A right now, and you know the great running backs they had last year, they're all back, and they're much improved. But I look for Hope to be a dark horse.
I look for Hot Springs to be a spoiler in many cases also, especially get ready for it. I don't know if it's the 5th game of the season or whatever it is from full field. That place will be jammed full. It's been a long time since there's going to be that many people in that stadium.
Better leave early to go to Hot Springs, especially if you're going to sit on the visitor side. Last year, I think we estimated somewhere around 8,000 people out here at Lake Hamilton. So Hot Springs, there's no doubt on their mind. They're wanting to make the playoffs and have a great season. They want to beat Lake Hamilton.
And some of you people might be listening coming from larger districts and what have you, say 8,000 big deal. You got to remember Lake Hamilton, for this area, a pretty good sized stadium at 5,000 capacity. That means standing room of 2,000 to 3,000 people. So a lot of interest in that game last year, and there'll be just as much or more this coming year as Hot Springs will try to take some revenge on the Wolves. Again, 27-3, Lake Hamilton a winner tonight. Reminding you to join us next week at 7 o'clock for the Jerry Clay Show and kickoff from Wolf Stadium right here at 7:30. For Tommy and Edmund, this is Bob Clements. Until next week, so long.
AB&C Grocery and Shell Station at 2070 Airport Road is your one-stop shopping experience for all your needs, from groceries to fresh produce.